Goodbye, gravity. Do you need me to speak into this? Microphone check. Mic check. 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 Mic check. We good back there? Seniors, you can enter at this time. For those in the crowd that don't know this, it's a long-running tradition that as our seniors make an entrance in the auditorium their last year, that we welcome them in. So.
We're good. Stand up, real quick. Perfect.
I couldn't find the tape, so I used duct tape.
All right, thank you everybody for being here. Before we get to some of the scripted stuff, I just wanted to start out and say today's a very near and dear day to my heart and many others. The men and women we're here that we have the privilege to honor today are more than deserving. So before we get started, if we could just give them a huge warrior welcoming with a round of applause. Good morning, warriors. Thank you for gathering with us today to honor and celebrate Veterans Day here at Salamanca High School. This day holds a special significance as we pause to recognize the courage, dedication, and sacrifice of the men and women who have served and continue to serve in our nation's armed forces. Our veterans have given so much to protect the freedoms and values that we hold dear, and today we have the opportunity to reflect on their commitment and express our deepest gratitude. Whether they served in times of war or peace, each veteran has played an important role in preserving the security and liberty of our nation. As we gather, let's remember that each of us has a role in upholding the values they fought for. May we draw inspiration from their example of service and selflessness, and take the time to thank those in our community who have served. Today, let us come together as one, students, staff, families, and community members, to honor our veterans. Thank you for being part of this meaningful assembly, and let's make this a memorable day to celebrate our veterans and their invaluable contributions. I'd like to invite Corey Holleran up to kick things off and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and remain standing for the Land Acknowledgement Statement.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Remain standing, please. Salamanca High School acknowledges the homeland of the Nandawatga, the people of the Great Hill, the Seneca people. Salamanca High School recognizes that we use their ancestral and modern-day land and water. We acknowledge that Seneca children were removed from their homes and sent to boarding schools on and off territory. Boarding schools attempted to take their language and culture from them. We send love and acknowledgement to the survivors that reside in our community today. We acknowledge that 1/3 of Ohio territory was flooded by the construction of Kinzua Dam. We recognize that Seneca families were forcibly removed from their homes and pushed into Salamanca City. We offer care and support for their children and grandchildren. We acknowledge that Salamanca and Salamanca School District exists through the goodwill of the Seneca Nation and legally through a lease lasting more than 100 years. Salamanca High School endorses the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples and strive to surpass each of the articles. We wish to strongly state our commitment to teaching the history, culture, and language of the Nandawatga. We work toward understanding, acknowledgement, and ultimately reconciliation. Salamanca High School acknowledges and greatly values the diverse community members from all Indigenous nations, their spiritual and physical relationship to this environment, their rights, their resilience, their sovereignty, and their heritage. We stand with all Indigenous peoples in their resolve to remain connected to this land. While we cannot undo what has been done, it is the goal of the Salamanca High School to make improvements that will benefit the next 7 generations of Indigenous students. Thank you. Now let's give a warm welcome to Mrs. Eaton.
Hi, everybody. This year, we are reading our VFW Patriots Pen essays in honor of our dear friend Jim Martin, who recently passed away. Jim was a proud veteran of the United States Navy who came to work at Salamanca schools as an 8th grade teaching assistant in the early 2000s. If you were lucky enough to work with him or to have been a student when he was here, you knew a few things. First, Jim Martin did things his own way, and he wasn't going to apologize for it. Second, the students loved him. He could reach the most struggling, the toughest students who just needed a helping hand. Third, he had a heart of gold, and we will miss him. After he retired, it was his mission to make sure students at Sally High reach civic heights by participating in the VFW's annual essay and speech contest in the 8th and 11th grades. Even though Jim is no longer with us, the legacy of the essay contest that Jim treasured and valued will always continue here at Salamanca High School. I'm proud to introduce the following students who will read you a portion of their essays themed My Voice in America's Democracy. Please welcome Rowan Swenson, Reagan Brown, and Quinn Cooper to the stage.
I have a voice, and it might not be a huge one, but it's mine, and I use it. I'm a very active student in my community and involved. I'm also on the student council of my school, so that gives me a bit more of a platform when speaking out. Sometimes having a larger voice feels like a double-edged sword, for with greater size comes different expectations or pressures. But big or small, each and every one of our voices counts. This is now truer than it ever was.
My voice on its own won't speak nearly as loud as someone who legally can vote, much less a lawyer like my mother and a working citizen like my father. I don't pay taxes, nor do I have a wage and a job to fight for, but I can keep myself updated with recent politics and community and state concerns. My research and willingness to understand these issues strengthens my voice on its own. Aside from that, I was elected as class president of the 8th grade at my school, and that comes with some authority and responsibility. I do speak up for what is right, and I advocate for my peers. Although I am only in 8th grade, my family has influenced my voice tremendously. I will always be the type of person to speak out for what I believe is right, practically and politically. I will continue to educate myself on such a relevant and changing topic. As I learn and grow, my voice will grow with me.
Representation in our democracy is important because America needs diverse opinions and circumstances so that we can make America better and help situations of less recognized groups live better and carry out the American dream. Some ways I represent my community as an 8th grader are playing softball and volleyball, participating in school field trips and spirit weeks, attending Longhouse, and participating in community events. Our system allows every voice, no matter young, old, or race, to mean something, even if you feel like you do not have a voice. Our democracy gives us multiple opportunities to show that we as citizens can influence our governance. By making my voice heard, I help shape my ideals and others' opinions on what can and what will be America for future generations. While as an 8th grader trying to voice my concerns, I will face challenges along the way. However, my ultimate goals and others is to uphold the ideals and principles of what America was founded on. I also want to ensure our representatives will precisely voice our concerns and feelings. This shows how mine and other voices can influence democracy.
It is easy to see how our voices apply in the wrong manner in today's world. We know people everywhere around us who use our voices to instigate arguments or to make decisions not good for all. But when we stand back and take a look at how much good our voices can do, well, it amazes everyone. Every voice matters, and every voice has that power of change.
Thank you. At this time, we'd like to welcome the Old Bridge Singers with a veteran tribute song. And now please welcome Ariana Blunt.
The United States Army, established on June 14, 1775, is the oldest and largest branch of the U.S. military, formed initially to defend the colonies during the American Revolutionary War. Over the centuries, the Army has played a pivotal role in shaping the nation and defending its interests at home and abroad. From its early battles for independence to its involvement in global conflicts such as the Civil War, both world wars, and more recent engagements in the Middle East, the Army has adapted to changing warfare, technology, and strategies. It has a strong tradition of values, including honor, integrity, and service, and today it remains a vital force for both national security and humanitarian efforts around the world. Speaking of the United States Army, let's hear it one more time for Army veteran Danny Williams.
Good morning. Well, that was way too weak. Let's hear it. Good morning. That's better. You people in this school system here are very lucky to have such a wonderful school system. Believe me, it's one of the best that I've ever seen in the country. Give yourselves a hand for that, I'll tell you. On the 11th day, the 11th month, the 11th hour, the fighting in World War I ended. Due to the conclusion of the war to end all wars, November 11th became universally recognized day of celebration. The day was originally declared Armistice Day 8 years after the end of World War I and honored only the veterans that fought in that war. Then in 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, it was renamed Veterans Day in honor of all the veterans who served America in war and defended democracy. Now it takes a lot of veterans to accomplish that, and all the veterans, no matter where they served or what they done, matter. So today we honor all the veterans who unselfishly placed their lives on the line for freedom. These men and women were ordinary people until they heard the call of duty and answered it. They left their families, their homes, their lives, not for recognition of fame or even the honor to bestow on them today. They fought to protect our country and maintain our way of life. As we honor our veterans, remember their great deeds, let us also salute those who are currently fighting for our freedom. We have veterans everywhere, all over the world, protecting our interest. The war on terrorism has helped us realize how truly unique American way of life is. The freedom we enjoy extremely special, and that's why we must defend it. So now is the time to not only honor those who have fought or are fighting for freedom, it is also time for each of us to take part in protecting it. The defense of freedom is not just for those in the military. Each of us shares that duty and responsibility. We don't have to join the Army or the Navy or any other organization of defense to actively defend our way of life. We can protect our freedom simply by maintaining it here in America. If we want to preserve our freedoms, we must put them into action. For example, by voting in elections, speaking out against injustices. We must also ensure that everyone feels the benefits of freedom, and we can do that by volunteering in our communities or teaching our children what it really means to be an American. Veterans Day isn't just a day for veterans. It's a day for Americans. It's a day to remember why they were fighting, and a day for all of us to begin our journey of protecting freedom of the many future generations. I want to thank all of you for honoring us veterans today. Let us walk toward tomorrow, still honoring them by living in the freedom that they protected. Thank you very much. You're a wonderful bunch. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's right. I learned that a long time ago.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. My nosy face. Stepping on my toes. Someone just stepped on my fucking toes. That was horrible. You did not project at all. Everyone was aspirating the whole time. That was so bad.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I say your name. Do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of those officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I. The armistice that began on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. The timing of this holiday is quite deliberate in terms of historical fact. But somehow it always seems quite fitting to me that this day comes deep in autumn when the colors are muted and the days seem to invite contemplation. It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise, but most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. And all we can do is remember. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee. In memory of those who gave the last full measure of devotion, may our efforts to achieve lasting peace gain strength. Let us make a vow to our dead. Let us show them by our actions that we understand what they died for. Strengthened by their courage, heartened by their value, and born by their memory, let us continue to stand for the ideals for which they lived and died.
In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
Please welcome Kyla Dry to the stage.
All right, go get him.
Come on, Kyla, you're good.
Wait.
I want to adjust.
I don't know how to do this.
Oh, yeah, you can. You got
Read
this.
the words. Just read the words.
It's right in front of you. You got it. It's all set.
Oh my god.
Just
Okay.
look at the paper.
The United States Navy, officially established on October 13, 1775, is one of the oldest branches of the U.S. military and global maritime force. Initially formed to protect the American trade and secure independence during the Revolutionary War, the Navy has grown into the largest and most advanced naval force in the world. Throughout its history, it's been instrumental in key conflicts including the War of 1812, the Civil War, both World Wars, and various modern operations. The Navy's presence extends across the oceans, ensuring freedom of navigation, projecting power, and providing humanitarian assistance worldwide. Guided by core values of honor, courage, and commitment, the Navy continues to safeguard U.S. interests, promote stability, and support allies globally. Here representing the Navy is veteran and retired Chief Petty Officer, my Uncle Greg Dello.
Nice job. You crushed it.
Good job. Hey. Thank you, sir.
You can walk out now.
Hi, good morning. My name is Greg. Kyla, that was awesome. Thank you so much. It was the greatest honor of my life to serve 28 years in uniform. And I got to tell you, when I first started out, I didn't have that much of a future ahead of me. I was a kid without a future. And then I joined the Navy, and they trained me to be an aviation electronics technician. So this kid without a future all of a sudden got to work on state-of-the-art electronic components that they're pulling out of multi-million-dollar aircraft. And I got to tell you, it was a thrill to start my career that way. I was absolutely supercharged coming right out the gate. I got to ply that trade on board 7 ships in my career. I was stationed on 6 aircraft carriers and 1 amphibious assault ship. It's a really cool ship. The vessel is designed for the aft end of the ship to submerge into water so that the landing craft can deliver personnel to the shore like on D-Day. Really cool. I got to do that a couple of times. It was neat. So that was the amphib. The carriers, if you've ever heard that an aircraft carrier is a floating city, that is 100% accurate. When the air wing is embarked, there's about 6,000 people on board the ship, which is about the size of this city. So the numbers are staggering, and it's crazy. It is crazy, but it works. And it works in large part because of the amenities that the Navy will give you out there at the ship. You know, you go out there for 7 to 9 months at a time. You're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's hard, it's tough conditions, it's a difficult job. But the Navy knows that if they don't give you something to bide your time off duty, you go crazy out there. So they give you there's a number of galleys on board where you can eat and hang out with your friends, gyms scattered throughout the ship. Library has spaces you can rent to play video games, play cards with your buddies, all that. There's a Starbucks on board now. They have a little booth where you can get gourmet coffee. Every now and then they'll send out a movie studios will send out a movie that hasn't actually hit the movie theater yet, so we get to pre-screen stuff like that. That was cool. You know, they want to make sure that life is bearable because the job is hard. It's really hard out there. But those amenities aren't the coolest thing about being on the ship. The coolest thing is the places they take you. They take you to some really great places. Ships have taken me to Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, the Philippines. I've been to Australia a number of times. I could drive a taxi cab in Dubai, I swear. Guam, Hawaii, there's so many places you get to go and experience in the Navy. It's tremendous. So that was a great experience. Beyond my time on the ships and in port calls, I served overseas twice. My first overseas tour was in Sicily, and that was great. Sicily's awesome. The food is incredible. It wasn't as great for me because it was an unaccompanied tour, meaning I couldn't bring my family with me, so that was tough. And then about halfway through my tour there, 9/11 happened, so my job got super crazy, super fast. So yeah, that was Sicily. My second overseas tour was in Japan. I did get to take my family over there. And so while I was busting my tail every single waking hour of the day, my wife and daughter got to spend time out on town and immersed in the Japanese culture. That was really cool. My daughter got to graduate from high school on base out there in Japan. That was a tremendous experience for her. And now she is an active duty sailor stationed on an aircraft carrier deployed and steaming towards the Mediterranean as we speak. I can't tell you how proud I am of her. You know, and so you've heard me mention up here a few times about my experiences. I got to experience this, and my wife and daughter, their experiences. And that really is what makes your time in uniform. I think every single hero up here and out in the audience could tell you that it's the things you get to do in uniform that make your career. You know, the Navy will put you on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier like it did me, or it could put you, you know, in a submarine 200 feet below the surface of the waves. You could take a walking tour up the side of Mount Fuji in Japan, or you can go visit the pyramids in Giza in Egypt. It's almost unlimited, the things you can experience while in uniform. So I will tell you that if there's anybody out there that is thinking about it or would just want to ask some questions if you're curious, I'm going to hang out after the assembly, and I'll leave my contact info with the school if you'd like to reach out, ask some questions. I give you my word, I will give you a 100% honest answer. But I'll tell you, this coming here and speaking to you today was a true honor and a privilege. I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the invite, and I'll just end by saying thanks again and happy Veterans Day.
The United States Marine Corps, established on November 10, 1775, is an elite branch of the U.S. military, known for its rapid response capabilities and amphibious war expertise. Originally formed to serve as a landing force of the Navy, the Marines quickly evolved into a unique force with a reputation for resilience and adaptability in some of the most challenging combat environments. They have played vital roles in the key battles from the Revolutionary War to both World War, the Korean and Vietnam Wars, and most recent conflicts in the Middle East. Guided by a warrior ethos and core values of honor, courage, and commitment, the Marines are often the first to arrive in crisis situation, prepared to fight and win battles across the terrains and domains, amplifying their motto, Semper Fidelis, always faithful. Here representing the United States Marine Corps is veteran Dick DeBoy.
Hey, good morning, staff, students, any guests, and importantly, my fellow veterans here today. My name is Dick DeBoy, retired Marine First Sergeant. I'm humbled to be here after I walked this very stage for graduation some 27 years ago. When in school, you might struggle or hate it, but I'll tell you, as someone who didn't put forth my very best effort while here, I had a steep learning curve in the real world. After graduation, I attended college at JCC in Olean, as that's what I was told was the best decision to get ahead in life. After a semester, it just wasn't working for me. I looked into the military as I had a buddy of mine who was home from boot camp and wanted to come talk. Imagine that a Marine recruiter said all the right things. I wanted to hear, and boom, a week later I was out to Parris Island to start my career. I spent 20 years in the United States Marine Corps and had the opportunity to travel 25 plus countries during my 8 deployments, some that were extremely fun, and while some were not so much. I've had the unfortunate opportunity to see and experience some things that I would not wish upon anyone. But with that, I've had some very great life lessons, as I have dealt with many situations that had I not taken a step back and take a look at the entire situation, I could have made a very rash decision, which in the line of work could have been catastrophic in the fact that if I were to overreact or react out of rage, people could be seriously injured. Now, this is a very serious example, but with it comes down to resilience and how you look at or especially react to situations no matter what it may be. So what I will say is that no matter how difficult you think things are or how many obstacles life throws at you, it really comes down to your reaction to the situation. If you take it as a victim or poor me attitude, the outcome will be exactly that. But if you take it and assess how to best attack the situation and then you dictate the outcome yourself, you have the ability to bounce back much easier. Life is not always fair, and the real world is very nasty. Things will simply not be handed to you. And not to be cliche, but to quote from a movie, it always sticks with me, is one that Rocky Balboa said. It isn't about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you hit and get up and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. So with that, I say to you, you control the outcome of any situation simply on how you react and simply just keep moving forward. I retired 7 years ago at the young age of 38 after my full 20 years. And in doing so, I get paid for life, which allows me to have the flexibility to do what I want. In the short time since I retired, I forgot about caring about myself. I was always putting others first. So I could have used the excuse of being lazy, make people feel pity on me because I was wounded in war, stuff like that. But instead I used that as fuel to be my very best version of myself and to create every opportunity to do as much as I possibly can in the short time we call life. In the last 4 years, I've been able to use my education. I went to school and got my degree to be a golf professional. I teach golf now, and that was all paid for by the U.S. military. In the last 2 years, I've been traveling a lot and experiencing the world, what we have to offer all across the land. I've been to Italy on a couple veterans pilgrimages. I've been to Spain hiking. Just a month ago, I went and hiked Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. And in January, I'm heading to Australia for about a year of just traveling around the world to see and experience everything. So the opportunities are there for you. You control your outcome. As you control how you react to any good or especially bad things that happen to you, if you have enough determination and willingness to get down and dirty, you can and will crawl out of any rut you are in. Enjoy your time here at Salamanca, as it will go by faster than you could possibly imagine. Lastly, and most importantly, for our beloved football team, coaches, players, cheerleaders, and all sports staff, hey, good luck tonight. Go Warriors!
The United States Air Force established as a separate branch of the military on September 18, 1947, emerged from the U.S. Army Air Corps to become the world's premier aerial and space power. Its roots trace back to World War I, where the early invasion efforts demonstrated the strategic importance of air superiority. The Air Force played a crucial role in major conflicts like World War II, the Cold War, and modern operations in the Middle East, shaping the course of modern warfare with advancements in aircraft, missile technology, and now space operations. With a commitment to integrity, service, and excellence, the Air Force is a critical component of the U.S. defense, especially in air dominance, the global mobility, and surveillance, while also driving technological innovation for the future of aerial and space security. Here representing the United States Air Force is our very own Dr. Bueller.
Nice job. Good morning, and welcome to all of our veterans. I had the opportunity to serve in the United States Air Force where I was not a pilot. Most people think that if you're in the Air Force, you're flying planes. The reality is, most people in the Air Force are actually supporting those few people who are in the planes. As Mr. DeBoy mentioned, when he joined the military, he had a steep learning curve. And I'll tell you that that's true for pretty much anybody who enlists, no matter what your role is. And that steep hill is pretty much a vertical climb. When you first enter, you may or may not think that you have it together, but within the first 30 seconds you will be told, if you didn't realize, that you don't have it together. And that disassembly is sometimes quite shocking, but over the next whatever number of weeks it is, you are reassembled into a different person. And that different person realizes that they're now part of a very important team. And along with that growth comes a sense of pride. And that's what I'd like to talk a little bit about. When I enlisted, I did it after my sophomore year of college. I was headed in one direction and recognized quite quickly that that wasn't the direction that I wanted to head into. I enlisted and became what's referred to as a combat arms instructor. Those are people who specialize in firearms. We train everyone in the Air Force, from nurses to pararescue special forces guys. I learned so much about not just how the world operates and should operate, but so much about what it means to be a good teacher, and that actually set me down the path that ended me up here today. I didn't go to school initially to become a teacher. The Air Force taught me that that was something that I truly enjoyed and loved giving back. But I want to revisit that pride piece, because every one of the veterans that's sitting here and will be standing up here is very proud of the time and the effort and the energy that they put in while they served. You often hear the term proud veteran. And we here in Salamanca very frequently talk about warrior pride. And I think frequently about what it means to be proud of something. And pride isn't something that can be given to you. You can't walk into Salamanca and truly be proud of who you are without some work. I think back to when I was in Cub Scouts, and you had that young Cub Scout who worked hard on his Pinewood Derby car. And no matter how he did, he was proud of that car. And then there was the dad who handed his son his Pinewood Derby car that he made for him, and maybe he won that competition. But I learned that that young scout was not proud of his car. He wasn't even proud of how he did. And that's where I learned that pride doesn't come from maybe where you stand on a podium or where you place in a race. It comes from the hard work, the dedication, the sweat, and sometimes the blood that you devote to something. Our football team that's out here tonight should be very proud. They're proud because of the victories that they've had to date, but they're more proud, and that pride comes from the work that they have put in up to this point. We have Miss Brady, who's going to States shortly. She should stand proud right now and be very proud of herself, not necessarily because she's going to States, but because she earned that position to get there. We can take pride that we know her and that we're affiliated with her, but the reality is we really haven't earned that pride, and it will not run as deep. That is something that cannot be taken away from people who do extraordinary things because of extraordinary effort. I'd like each of you to think right now, what is it that you're proud of the most? Some of you might be proud of athletic accomplishments, some of it might be academic. But to me, what might be more alarming is if something doesn't come to your mind of what you're proud of. I didn't have the opportunity to serve in a conflict time while I was in the military. My time was all peacetime. which was wonderful. But I am proud of the time, the energy, the dedication, the pursuit of excellence that I was taught is a part of who we are. And each one of you should find that thing that you are proud of. And if you don't have that, then I suggest you evaluate what you do every day. Because chances are, even if you haven't found it, there should be something, or you're not working hard enough. The world around us is surrounded by a lot of people who don't work hard. That cannot be you. Whatever it is that you choose to do, work hard, be excellent at it, and be proud of what you do and who you are. So, at this point in time, I am going to turn it over to the Salamanca High School Band and Chorus to perform the military hymns. Now, for our veterans, you've been through this before. If you hear your branch, please stand to be recognized for your service.
Excuse me. Can I go up?
Over hill, over dale, we will hit the dusty trail, and the caissons go rolling along. In and out, hear them shout, counter march, right about, and the caissons go rolling along. Then it's high, high, he in the field artillery, shout out your numbers loud and strong, for wherever you go, you will always know that the caissons are rolling along. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for rights and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
The United States Navy.
Anchors aweigh, my boys, anchors aweigh. Farewell to college shores, we celebrate the day. Through our last night ashore, drink to the fall, until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home.
The United States Coast Guard.
Place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, I shall our purpose be. Separatus is our guide, our fame and glory too. To fight, to save, to fight and die. the Pledge of Allegiance. National anthem, sorry. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the wagons trembling, bells bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. As in tradition, at this time, we would like our veterans to come up, introduce yourself, tell us the branch you served in, and when and where you served. If you could come up and remain on stage, that would be great. Thank you. Veterans, come on up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as our veterans are approaching, we've started I guess we've started it, but we borrowed from the military a tradition of recognizing hard work, dedication, and commitment to an organization with what are called challenge coins. We present these to students and staff who excel at a certain role or just do a good task. But each one of our veterans today are going to be provided one of these. Each one is different each year. And this year, on one side, it acknowledges something that we have in common with our veterans. Once a warrior, always a warrior. And on the other side, we have our school motto. So, thank you.
Greg Eaton, Sergeant, U.S. Army, Vietnam.
Kelvin Jefferson, U.S. Army, 57 to 60.
Gary Walden, U.S. Army. I served 20 years Airborne Infantry. Served 3 times in Iraq, 2 times in Afghanistan.
Frank Morales, I'm the Director of Veteran Services in St. Bonaventure University. I served in the Army for 20 years. I was deployed to Afghanistan twice. And I'm good friends with Dick Du Bois. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm Lou Harrison, United States Army Military Police Corps. I was in Iraq. I was stationed in Vicenza, Italy as part of CTAP NATO. Thank you.
My name is Gary Buffum, Sergeant, United States Marine Corps, Recon Special Operations, Vietnam. My name is Terrence Stallard. I served in the Navy from 1960 to 64 aboard the USS Massey DD-778.
Lowell Stallard, Corporal, U.S. Marine Corps, Vietnam.
Tom Percy, I retired from the U.S. Army in the Vietnam era.
Ed Spooneybarger, United States Marine Corps, 1981 to 83.
I'm Liz Connor. I was in the U.S. Navy. I was a combat medic and a corpsman. I was medically discharged a year in due to training injuries. I also run the Cattaraugus County Dwyer Veteran Peer Program. So I work a lot with Frank, I work a lot with Dick DuBois, and I work a lot with Miss Lou over there. Love you, Lou. Thank you very much.
Robert Terhune, United States Army.
Ray Wilson, United States Navy, 70 to 74, Vietnam, and 74 to 95, United States Naval Reserve.
Thank you, sir.
Tom Brady, I was a captain in the United States Army Field Artillery from 1969 to 1975.
Lou Potter, Sergeant, United States Army, Combat Engineer.
I'm Pete Furlong. I graduated from this high school, and I was in the U.S. Seabees, 57 to 61.
Big game, thank you.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Jim Hamaker graduated from Salamanca in 1965, went in the Air Force in 1966 to 70, and one of the things I did in the Air Force, I was fortunate, I went out to Cape Canaveral and served out there for all the space shots security, and that was really exciting. And go Warriors tonight, please.
Josh Teeter, 98 to 2012, U.S. Navy, all over.
Class of 96 alum.
Robert Howard, I was in the Navy from 74 to 83. I served time on aircraft carrier USS Independence and a destroyer USS Conte Gras.
How you doing? Ron Hill, Marine, 77 to 80. Go Warriors. Jim Poling, United States Navy, September 97 to April 06.
Sean Gilbert, United States Army.
Dave Camden, U.S. Army.
Al Miller, U.S. Navy,
Guided Missile Cruisers, Belknap, served from 81 to 85, Beirut, Lebanon.
John Haley,
72 to 74, and I was one of the last ones drafted out of this county. I'm lucky.
Clyde Dornan, United States Air Force, and a veteran.
One more.
One more. Danny Williams, I served with 7th Cavalry Division in Vietnam in 1969 and 70. I'm a proud veteran. Thank you.
Would now ask everyone to stand as we pay tribute to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for the freedoms that we enjoy today. This concludes our Veterans Day Assembly. We ask that veterans be dismissed first and line up in the cafeteria hallway so our faculty and staff can shake your hand and say thank you for your service. Students and staff, I will dismiss you after the veterans have left the auditorium. Another round of applause for our veterans. You know,